Whenever you start ISIS Vision, the previous repertory and chapter you were reading is displayed for you automatically. In this case, the combined repertory is open to the Mind chapter with the rubrics beginning with the letter A. Now, when browsing and reading the repertory, there are a few things you need to know. The most important, perhaps, is how to control the left exploratory here, which, as you can see, lists all the chapters of the combined repertory. To change to another chapter within the same book is as easily as clicking the chapter name here on the left, and all the rubrics appear from A to Z on the right side of the screen. To change to a different repertory altogether, you first of all need to close your current repertory, and you do this by clicking the little plus here and then choosing the repertory you wish to open by clicking the plus in front of its name here, and finally choosing the repertory chapter you wish to browse. A really quick way to go down the list of chapters is to drag the mouse scroll bar like so, which will take you up and down the tree. Let me go back to the combined repertory, which all of you will have as default within the ISIS system. Now, the next thing you need to decide is how you're going to find the rubrics in your case that you're looking for. Now, as you can see, in my display here, I have the two columns of the repertory displayed just as if I was reading the printed book. Now, to search for any rubric is a simple matter. You just have to type the first word of the rubric into the screen. So there's nothing to click, nothing to press. I'll show you how this works right now. Let's pretend I'm looking for the rubric Fear of Dogs. All I need do is to click the F key, press the F key on the keyboard like so, and ISIS immediately knows that I want to search the repertory looking for all rubrics beginning with the letter F. Then if I type the letter E, it immediately jumps, as you can see here, to the very first rubric, Fear, related to what I just typed in. So you must know the first word you're looking for in order to use this facility, which, by the way, we call Search as you type, as ISIS is searching for rubrics behind the scenes as you're typing letters. Now, to refine the search further, to find Fear of Dogs specifically, we need to tell ISIS what our second word is, and you need to type this word, or a few letters of the word, into the second position here by clicking the mouse into it, or by pressing the Tab key if you're more comfortable with the keyboard. Now I'll just type a couple of letters, dog, and ISIS has now immediately found Fear Dogs of in the combined repertory. Now, something you need to know at this point: the word or letters you type into this first position must correspond to the first word of the rubric in the repertory chapter, but all subsequent words can appear anywhere within the rest of the rubric text, and it's done deliberately that way because every repertory is slightly different. In the complete repertory, this rubric would be Fear Animals of Dogs. In Murphy's repertory, it might be Fear of Dogs. In Fatak's repertory, it certainly is Fear of Dogs. And so, by allowing all of the subsequent words you use to be anywhere in the rubric text, you get a much better match to what you're looking for. Occasionally, there will be rubrics or several rubrics that match what you type in, and I want to show you how you can easily step through each one in turn, forwards and backwards. I'll just remove the letter G from the dog here, and notice now, because our second word is DO, that ISIS has found the first rubric in the Mind chapter that has Fear and DO, in this case down, somewhere in the rubric text. But if that wasn't what we were interested in, we could ask ISIS to find the next example for us, and we do that by clicking this button here. And when I say next, now it jumps to Fear Doctors, and I say next, and it jumps to Fear Dogs, and next, Fear Door. This button here is previous, and you can go backwards in exactly the same way through all of the rubrics that match what you've typed in. Now, to start over with a different search, you have a clear button here, like so, which clears everything you've typed in and repositions you back to the front of the chapter. As a little tip here for you, this little search as you type box can be controlled in its own way. First of all, you can resize it by dragging the bottom right corner. This is especially useful if you're operating on a computer with a very high resolution display in which you want to make this little box more prominent. The other thing you might want to do is to reposition this box out of the way so that you can see more effectively what's on the main screen. So some might want to put it here in the bottom right, some might put it here in the top right, or some might be happy exactly where it is. The choice is entirely up to you. A couple more things about this search as you type box. There is a shortcut here which allows you to quickly change the chapter you're looking for or looking at by just having a list of all the chapters in the current book. And when you select a different chapter, like respiration, and click down to the next box, the display changes for you automatically to the respiration chapter so that you can continue your searching. I'll just go back to the Mind chapter here just to show you how you can move back quite easily, like so. Now the final thing to tell you about this little search as you type box is this positional find setting here. Now this is for those of you that know your repertory exactly, and what it means is that whichever words I type into the first and second and third positions must be in the first, second and third positions, for example, in the rubric text. So it's changing the default method, which is find the first word and any others in the rubric text line, to be a strict positional find for those who know their repertory exactly. Now I would suggest that's going to be very few people in practice, so most of you will want to leave the setting as the default, which is find first word and any others. A final thing to mention about browsing the repertory is that you can very easily, by closing this little box here, scroll through the repertory either line by line or rubric by rubric, just using the keyboard or mouse scrolling bar. Now I'll just show you the use of the mouse scrolling bar. You can just click here to go up bit by bit, or you can drag the mouse scroll bar like so to quickly go through the repertory chapter until you find an approximate position as to where you want to be and where you want to read. You can also use the keyboard keys. The down arrow goes one at a time and the up arrow goes backwards. Or on your keyboard you'll notice page up and page down keys, which you can also use to go upwards and downwards very quickly. Good key to know if you want to go right to the beginning of the chapter is the home key on your keyboard. Will take you right back to the very beginning. One final thing to show you is the use of the standard Windows Find option, which those of you who use Microsoft Word or the Internet Explorer will probably be familiar with the key combination, which is the Control key held down and the F key pressed at the same time, which gives you a little find window. And what this allows you to do is to do a free-form search on any text in the repertory. In this case it's based on rubrics. So let me explain the difference. If I were to type a word like sad as a find word and then click the find button, the display will immediately jump to the very first rubric that has the word sad anywhere within it, in this case anger alternating with sadness. Clicking find next will jump me to anxiety sad, and again will take me to cheerful in the evening, sad in, morning and similarly and so forth, cheerful alternating with sadness. Now this is useful occasionally when you don't know the very first word of the rubric that you're interested in finding. In this case, for example, we're typing the word sad and it will step us through one at a time. If you know the first word, then you will use the regular search as you type facility. But if you don't know the first word, this is quite a nice little facility to jump you through all rubrics that match your text one at a time.